Nothing. You lose.
That's Trump talking to the media and everybody else. He's destroying. I can't believe how thorough the beating is. Never mind winning by a landslide, but not missing. It's turning every stone over. They must have had a list 1,000 miles long and said, we are doing every bit of this. And if anybody doesn't back me, get out now. It is, I mean, Kohberger's folding and, fucking Kimmel's probably on the deck. And it's just a wet dream. I didn't think it could happen. Don't worry, they're not going to go down without trying to steal something or do something stupid, but I'm just saying, what a beating they're taking. That's what happens when you listen to AOC for the last 4 years. Take some young, stupid bartender from BU, radical idiot who says she's from the Bronx and grows up in a rich white neighborhood next to where I had my house in New York. Follow that person. Then Bernie's still out there. Fucking Bernie, I just give him credit. Where's he getting this energy? And then like I said, it's amazing. I said this in my act. Yeah, people go, where's he get the energy? Yeah, well, when you sleep on your parents' couch till you're 45, you tend to have a lot of juice at the end of your life. Oh, the billionaires, I think he got molested by a billionaire. Jesus, does he hate billionaires? You touch my pee-pee? I don't like capitalism. It's unfair, but I have 3 houses. I made $1 million selling a book. You people suck. Not you people. You know what I'm talking about. It's a dangerous situation. Top of the show. Welcome to Rumble Live. The live lineup, where you get streaming shows like Louder with Crowder at 11, Russell Brand, Tim Pool, all the guys you see scrolling by on your screen right now. You get it all commercial free and get extra content. You can sign up for Rumble Premium, and don't forget, you can download the Rumble app. Today, I'll be talking about Mexico. They're kind of cooperating with Trump. They're going to hand over some cartel people, apparently. I love how she came out when United States is not coming in here with their military. Oh, who's going to stop us, senorita? But anyways, this is a good way to do it, too. Everything's up for negotiation with Trump, which is brilliant, actually. The Texas Democrats, Abbott's going to, he threatened to arrest them, the ones that ran away. And they're coming back. And the ones that were there voted on something and they walked out because they didn't like it. And I saw something I read today. I had to put it in the show. Do you know that little bunny rabbits, I didn't know they went down on each other. No. No, there's a human, Pamplona virus. Pamplona, I say Pamplona, like running with the bulls in your vagina. HPV, bunnies get it, like in the wild, and they grow these black things out of their face. Oh my God. And finally, we'll show you the DC police chief, who is a woman of color, and she showed her ignorance to the point where even black people got nervous yesterday. Anyway, that's DEI. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure she's a nice person, but she's retarded and doesn't belong in the spot. There's nice retarded people. I haven't met one. They're all nasty to me, but that's because I tease them when they put my groceries in a bag. I take out a can of tomatoes. I go, this goes on top of the eggs, Corky. The fuck's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Sorry, Jimmy. Eggs are my mother's name. Anyways, Red Sox last night, they dropped the they dropped the first one in Houston. Last night, they won 14-2. They've scored over 10 runs. Did they say 9 times this year? They lead all of baseball in scoring over 10 runs. And this is a team that doesn't even have their shit together yet, folks. I'm telling you. Wait till next year. They're going to get in the playoffs this year. But I'm just saying, all the shit I've been talking about, it's been the most interesting year. Like I said, I'm 63, been watching them since I was 6. So that's kind of a good sample size. I've never seen anything. This kid, Roman Anthony, who was the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, he had 4 walks last night, and there was a 5th one he should have had. There was a pitch that was outside, the guy called the strike, and then a check swing. He said he went on, but he didn't. He would have had 5 walks. Now, if you're not baseball fans, like, big deal. That's like a hit. On base, getting on base is the most important thing. And this kid is 21 years old, and he's spitting at pitches that are an inch off the plate. He must have eyes like a hawk, and he hit a home run to boot. So they are fun to watch. But, you know, they had dropped 3 out of 4 going into last night. But that's how it goes. It's baseball. You know, people expect you to go on 14 out of 16 It's not how it works. It's one of the good things about that sport. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about it. Let's talk about girls lacrosse. Now, there's a violent... anybody else, do you tremble in anger when you're trying to watch the goddamn, I don't know, whatever, and the WNBA scores are going across the bottom? It might as well be the Japanese stock market for me. Oh my God, does anybody care that the Mercury drafted some chick out of the Pork and Beans Project in Florida? And then they have commercials. They're just mimicking the NBA. It's like little kids mimicking adults. It's really, you know, and again, I'm not saying, hey, look, if I was a 6'8" freak, was good at basketball, all the more power to him, but quit when you do commercials that shows Michael Jordan, then you splice in whoever from the WNBA. They do this in all the commercials now. They'll show, you know, whoever, Pat Mahomes throwing a pass, then they'll cut to the flag football and your girl run him. All that is propaganda, folks. That's all that is. Same with TV shows like Survivor, all those reality things, Naked and all that shit. It's always man against women. That's all that is. That's the underlying message. I get in fights with my wife. She doesn't watch that shit either. But when we watch, and I've said this before on the show, so bear with me. But when we watch, you know, Forensic Files and all that shit, and it's inevitably there's a gay cop, male or female, or the lawyer is obviously a gay woman. I tell my wife, that's what this is about, you know. I go, it's not about the murders. I go, that's interesting. But do you know how many murders there are? They can just grab one. Those are all insignificant. It's entertaining, but it's about going, look, there's a female black woman and she's a prosecutor in Cleveland. That's what it's about. She gets nuts, my wife. Well, there are female black yes. And for every one, there's 60,000 white guys doing it. That's all I'm saying. And they can pick any of this. That's how I've been watching TV. I've been right my whole life, starting with the white guys in commercials before anybody brought that shit up. That's what happens when you're raised by the Klan. But, you know, go. Anyways, it makes watching TV hard for me and even harder for my wife. I was on fire at Jeopardy last night. Luckily, there's a few sports questions in there. I noticed I don't know my geography. Do you know your world geography? What fucking river dumps into the Baltic Sea from the North African coast? I always go Volga. That's a Russian river. Anytime it's a question about a river, fucking realize how ignorant I am. The wife comes home. So I said, we don't know about you. And she goes, yeah, that's not one of my strengths. She comes home with a book. It's about the size of my living room floor. It must weigh 200 pounds. She'll rip through that in 2 days, and then I won't play Jeopardy with her anymore. She starts to know rivers. I'll throw her in one. Fucking. Let's get on with it. Bienvenido a los Estados Unidos. Let's welcome to the United States for you Latin challenge people. Mexico is handing over 26 top cartel leaders for 2 draft picks to be named later from the Sinaloa. They got a couple of kids coming up that can really cook that fucking... Anyways, they're handing over 26 top cartel leaders to the U.S. this week in a deal with the Trump administration. But he's not as good as Biden. I am the frito bandito. I love fritos con chips. I love them, I do.
I want fritos con chips.
I'll take them from you. Fucking racist. The cartel figures were scheduled to fly to the United States on Tuesday. Now, if it was Biden, they would have been in business class with margaritas and getting a hand job from some gay flight attendant from Dominican Republic. Here's a little video of the story.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responded to these reports, stressing that no U.S. military presence...
Pause 1 second. That's Emily Campagna, fellas. Okay? I mean, obviously stunning. She was a NFL cheerleader on top of it, and she's a lawyer. And she's on almost every show on Fox. And when I tell you she's sharp as a tack, that would be a guy putting his idea of a great woman together, the perfect woman. I want her to have lawyer brains and an NFL cheerleader body. And I want her to be Italian. And she giggles and upbeat. She's upbeat and everything. Other than that, what a waste of life. Go ahead.
Will be tolerated in her country. Quote, we cooperate, we collaborate, but there is not going to be an invasion. The United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military.
This is what she did. She talked to Trump about that, and Trump said, we won't invade, but you got to, if you hand over these guys, and then she goes out and says that, make it look like she's putting her foot down. Yeah. How about that? I figured that out. El Brenos, Los Brenos, Cabeza, some type of shit like that. Is that it with her? Yeah, good. I had enough of her. I still can't believe Mexico has a president named Sheinbaum. What the? Today's the latest example of the Trump administration's historic efforts to dismantle cartels and foreign terrorist organizations. Attorney General Pam Bondi told Fox News through her blonde hair and bosoms. These 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores, especially Polly. What? Cut under this Department of Justice. I think I just heard a little of that Dallas rim shot. Under this Department of Justice, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country. We are grateful to President Sheinbaum and the Mexican government for their collaboration in this matter. I am a Native American. Abigail, that's right, a drug leader, Abigail. You wonder why I went into drugs. You don't think he got fucking tortured? This kid was doing blow when he's in the third grade thanks to his mother picking a name out of a hat. Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, a leader of the Los Cuinis cartel, I'm sure I got that wrong, but which is aligned with the notorious Jalisco New Generation cartel, which we all know is the CJNG. And Roberto Salazar, who was accused of participating in the cheating scandal when he was the shortstop for the Houston Astros a couple of years ago. No. Accused of participating in the 2008 killing of a Los Angeles sheriff's deputy, among those being handed over to the United States. Is Trump just not the fucking greatest president of all time? It could end today, his administration. He would have done more than the last three, I say. The Trump administration has classified the CJNG as a terrorist organization, and why wouldn't you? What was it, 250-something thousand Americans died just last year from fentanyl or some shit? You understand that? That's a war. You know, if they were doing that with guns and shit, you'd understand us shooting back. What's the difference? You're talking about future generations of kids. Mexico's Attorney General office and security ministry confirmed the men were being handed over, saying the deal was made after the United States Justice Department said it wouldn't seek the death penalty for any of the men. And you guys know, I don't know if you do know where I stand on the death penalty. I'm against it only because I think spending your life in a cage has to be worse than being put to sleep, in my opinion, unless you have dreams like me. Jesus, do not mix Advil PM with sleep patches and Valero tea. That's how desperate I am for good sleep. I sent away, you know those ads you see on the internet? I fucking sent away sleep patches and a bag of tea. And it does make you a little relaxed, but I take cocaine to relax, so that's not going to work. You know what I mean? Again, last night I took an Advil PM. I put 2 tea bags in that fucker. I was going to commit suicide. Cover my body with those stickers, those sleep patches. And I got in bed at 12:30, cut to 1:25. Nick going on, pigs.com/org/bigboobies. There's something, it's got to be something in my subconscious. It's something very internal that's keeping me awake. Maybe because I'm this close to dying in 20 years. That might. I think, was it Betty Davis that said, getting old isn't for pussies? That's one of the greatest quotes ever. It really is kind of scary. Thank God for, testosterone therapy and AIDS. What? Let's move on. Don't mess with Texas. You got to like Abbott, even though he's crippled and doing donuts in his chair. The Texas House Democrats who abandoned their state, remember they ran out last week? Ran to Illinois to hide behind that fat fuck J.B. Pritzker, literally, who abandoned their state in protest of the Republican-led redistricting effort, will return, this was yesterday, after Governor Abbott took emergency action to begin removing the absent legislatures as they refused to show up for work. Here he is, seen like he's standing. Had me fooled. I've been watching this guy for 15 years. The State House had only 95 members present for the second day in a row on Tuesday, with Speaker Dustin Burrows, seen here. Looks like the guy in the Smith Brothers cough drops, predicting that the session will end and a new one will start, assuming there is no quorum on Friday, the outlet noted. Senate Democrats did not break quorum, though they did storm out of the chamber in protest as their Republican counterparts passed the new redistricting map. So they once again acted like the fucking children that they are and walked out. When I say they are taking a beating, dudes, and the nerve, they are the best. If you guys follow Paul even a little, they perfected redistricting and gerrymandering and shit. And all these statistics are coming out now. Like California, it'll show, Democrats, as far as voting, 60%, only 35% Republican. And Republicans only have Massachusetts. It shows you how many people registered Republican. And it's not, and there's a ton of Democrats. But there's no Republicans in Congress in Massachusetts. That's from redistricting. That's how you do it. They perfected it. And they have the gall now that fucking Trump's like, yeah, we'll do that with Texas, because I guess we can. But all these stats are coming out. It shows how the Democrats, really smart at this shit. Excuse me. God forbid somebody else tried their tactics, which apparently are legal. I don't understand. I've read the gerrymandering shit. It just is. What do you think the Democrats and Biden were trying to do when they had half of South and Central America imported here? What do you think that does? You think that changes the redistricting is based on the census. You fill out a census. You don't think they were trying to get votes. That's all that was about, opening the gates. So a few women get raped jogging. So what? We win in the midterms. That's all that's about, folks. The House Democrats returning would follow intense legal actions taken by Abbott, Burrows, and Attorney General Ken Paxton, who have all pushed for the arrest and replacement of the dozens of rogue lawmakers who fled the state in order to prevent redistricting. And it's really bad. I was watching an episode of Cops last night. I was like, bad boys. And I saw a couple of black congresswomen in Texas running out of a... The deadline for them to go back to Austin was last Friday afternoon. Look, I got to be a little fair with the Democrats. I wouldn't want to run back there either, but you chose to live in that shithole. Prompting Abbott to file a suit with Texas Supreme Court this week to quickly, in quotes, make clear the authority I have to remove the legislatures from their offices, which he does apparently. Today, I took emergency action, he said, to begin the removal from office of a derelict Democrat Texas House members who refused to show up for the special session, the governor said in a statement. So I put rat poison in their cremora. And Abbott said last week that he ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety to arrest and return every runaway Democrat. I wonder if that's going on right now. We'll see clips of that on Sports Center. What a mess their party is in. And there's only one solution. Only one solution. They literally have to gut everything they've been preaching for 60 years. All that DEI horse shit. Because now, Democrats, there's people who are like, have been Democrats for years, are going, fuck this. The Teamsters are now dealing with the Republicans, which they haven't done forever. So they have to. The only way they can fix this thing is come and go, you know what? We've been wrong for a long time. And then get together and try to do some bipartisan. It's not in them. It's not in their DNA. This is a blast. I wish I was 28 so I could watch this fucking Civil War kick off in a few years. Also, folks, an amendment to this story. The Texas Senate has officially passed the new U.S. House maps that they were talking about with the redistricting as Democrats stormed out of the chamber. Did we already show it? Oh, we should. Huh?
It's at the end.
Oh, it's at the end. Yeah, they stormed the fuck out. Now all it needs is House approval, and Republicans will pick up potentially 5 U.S. House seats. Do you remember the days when Texas was always red? Now you have to fight to get it back. It shows you what type of PC wokeness spread throughout the country. Here's a video of them yesterday walking out as the Republicans vote on this redistricting. These are the ones that stayed. These aren't the ones that ran away. These are the ones that stayed, and they're going to walk out as they did here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The speaker, she said, get back here, you pussies.
Bye-bye.
They're walking out. They don't want to work. They're Democrats. They've never worked in their life.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Then they cut to, I didn't show you this part. Ken, what's it, Ken? Why do I say Ken Abbott? What's his? No, yeah, I always confuse. What's Abbott's? Greg Abbott? Greg. He rode a wheelie. He was so happy. Right down the ramp, right through the parking lot. Yeah, leaning all the way back. Very impressive. $4,000 rims on his. Sure. Let's move on to, this will break up the political shit, and we'll have a little fun here. I saw this morning. I go, I cannot skip this story. Blackbeard bunnies. What are you talking about? A rapidly spreading virus is causing cottontail rabbits to grow black tentacle-like growths out of their heads. Oh, my God. You know what? I remember I had sex with a girl, and she had those on her face.
How do you work around it?
How to work around it? Luckily, we were in the fresh produce section at Publix. I just threw a bag over there. Black tentacle-like growths out of their heads. Some people think they're picking up cable for free with these. Prompting warnings to steer clear of the mutated animals. One guy saw one in his yard, and he's like,
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you. Jerk-off.
The so-called Franken bunnies have been spotted multiple. It sounds like a cereal for kids.
I know.
New chocolate Franken bunnies have been spotted multiple times in Fort Collins, Colorado. Boy, Colorado's been having a lot between fucking MS-13 and freakish bunnies and and Deion Sanders. What a nightmare. Resident Susan Mansfield told 9 News she saw a rabbit with what looked like black quills or black toothpicks sticking out of all around his or her mouth. One person described the infected critter as having a scabieous look growth over their face. And again, that reminds me of a girl I dated up at Maine. She had a scabious. The so-called bunny blight is actually a disease called, get this, folks, here's the fun part, cottontail papillomavirus. Papillomavirus. Pampelona. You know, when you run with the bulls and you get an STD. Papillomavirus. CRPV. Didn't my wife buy jewelry from CRP on the TV? also known as Shope. That's my screen name, Mr. Shopes. Papillomavirus, which causes cottontails to sprout tumors around their head. Oh, my God. You know, because, well, we'll get to this in a sec. Look at that one's got one, too. That's got to be weird. It is spread by parasite ticks and fleas, which pass on the ailment through their bites, according to Pet MD. Hey, can we get Elon Musk on this? I mean, you know, Lyme disease kills people, and can we get rid of this shit? We're too busy trying to get rid of malaria in Africa the last 50 years. Let's start wiping some of this shit out. I don't want my wife to come home with all these black budding things on her forehead because her boyfriend, Terrell Suggs, was cheating on her. Typically, rabbits become infected in the warmer months of summer when they're hanging out at the beach. When transmitted by being bitten by insects like fleas and ticks. With the recent sightings occurred in Colorado, the disease most frequently rears its horny head in the Midwest, usually. In 2013, a Minnesota resident caused a stir after posting a video of a tendril-ridden rabbit in his backyard, which he dubbed the Frankenstein bunny, and compared it to the mythical jackalope. It's a jackalope, you know? I've heard that.
Antlers. Rabbit with antlers.
It's a rabbit with antlers? Yeah. A jackalope is? Is it a real rabbit? Oh, fake? I thought I was confusing it with a jack-o'-lantern. In light of the rampant CRPV sightings, wildlife experts have warned people not to approach or handle or try to eat any of the porcupine quills of the inflicted critters. Thankfully, while the virus can spread between rabbits, it is not known to infect humans or pets unless you're going down on Michael Douglas's wife. Oh, my God. You guys know that story, right? I had a great bit on it, which I had to put away, but I got to break it out again because some rich guy in the suburbs of Philly is in a nasty divorce with his wife, and one of the things is he's alleging that he got HPV from going down on his wife. And I love how you just did one. It looks like somebody threw dog shit at him, doesn't it? So, yeah, don't go down on any rabbits. I think that's the moral. Wow, that would be fucking scary. Did you see that? I saw a story a couple days ago on the internet. There was a deer. I don't know how they know this. For almost 2 weeks, was walking around with his head stuck in a plastic jar. You know, he tried to eat something, which is amazing. How did he not dehydrate to death? And I was going, how do they know it's 12 days? And then the guy that took the jar off said, well, I put it on.
12 days ago.
Well, you can't do math? What the fuck's the matter with you? Yeah, and they cut it off. And the deer wasn't very appreciative. He just took a shit and ran back into the woods. You know, I don't like that. May you go down on a rabbit and have quills growing out of your face. Thank you, DEI. But before I say thank you, DEI, yeah, it's 30 minutes in. NickDiPaolo.com, NickDip.com. I made it easy for you guys. Tour dates. My next performances, this will be a trip that I'll be dreading soon. I mean, I love it once I'm there. Hyenas in Texas on September 18th. Dallas, I guess. They have 2 rooms. I don't know which one it is still. And then the next night, September 19th, and the next night after that, the 20th, I'll be at Wise Guys in Salt Lake City, Utah. So that's 3 shows right in a row. October 3rd, the Arlington Draft House in Arlington, Virginia. Haven't been there in a while. It's a great theater, kind of an old theater. And also October 16th, Zanies in Nashville, Tennessee. And go to the merchandise page. You can. We have a lot of new stuff. As you know, the fall's coming up, so we have Nick DiPaolo bow and arrows, and we're working on. My wife's putting together a Nick DiPaolo AR-15 gun that she's making out of zucchini and rocks. What? Hats and all that shit. Buy something. Support the show. Look at me. Wait a minute. We're supposed to have a new sponsor, I was told by Tommy this week. Did you hear that? Nope. Fucking liar.
Hi. Good night, everybody.